All right. Hi, my name is Jessica Suh. I'm currently a junior at Rice University and a member of Phnom Penh House Church, which just multiplied but was previously shepherded by George Hung and Esther Lee, and before that, Peter Park. So my entire life has been governed by people. Every decision I made was calculated based on how I believed they would perceive me, how they would feel or approve of what I did. My desire to feel accepted and admired by everyone was what I lived for, and so my efforts were focused on creating an image of having it all together. Each day consisted of going through the motions. I did whatever was the responsible or the nice or right thing to do, whether it was working hard in school, memorizing all the Bible verses, or helping whoever asked anything of me, regardless of how much I actually wanted to. As I worked hard to build up this reputation of being collected, never expressing any concerns or issues, always appearing to be happy and content, compliments and praise from others flattered me and sustained my sense of self. But they also unknowingly became what I lived for. My identity and validation came from others' acceptance and admiration of me, and I slowly felt suffocated by the pressure of living up to others' expectations. I found myself in a perpetual state of pride and insecurity, hesitant to open up about any sort of internal stress or sadness or failure, fearing the waves of judgment that would inevitably lower others' opinions of me. I was so scared of vulnerability, I could not bear the idea of trusting another person with my weaknesses and losing the image I had worked so hard on. This wall I built up thinking it would protect myself only distanced me from relationships with my friends and with God. Though I approached God with my best efforts, I was simply trying to impress him and gain favor through my self-righteousness, and I had no idea how to see God in moments of desperation, sin, or shame. This defined my understanding of Christianity for the majority of my life. My decision to look for a church in college was not difficult, it was simply the right thing to do. To fall away from church would have been disapproved and looked down upon back home, and I was ready to just repeat the routine I had fostered up to that point. But as I was introduced into the community of New Life, I found an environment encouraging a Christian lifestyle that wasn't so focused on the exterior of performing or living to impress others, but instead one that created a safe space for open, vulnerable sharing. I watched my shepherd and house church members share about difficult experiences, comfort each other in tears, and truly lend their hearts in humility. I witnessed a love that looked beyond one's worries and shortcomings and instead embraced them in a tender love of compassion and empathy. This came at a time when I needed it the most. Up until college, I had been relying on myself to maintain an image of having it all together, but the strain that left on me each day left me overwhelmed. I reached a point where I felt like I had lost the stability and routine that I had desired so much. I was not living up to my academic standards, which was much of what defined my identity, and I felt like my declining spiritual priorities had separated me as far as I could be from God. I was used to either fixing all of my problems myself or carrying on as if everything was okay, but I didn't have the energy or strength to sustain myself, much less love and pour out on others. I was burdened by my feelings of inadequacy and failure, the very feelings I had feared so desperately. But through the consistency of house church, of being surrounded by people who loved on me relentlessly, and experiencing a community where I knew I could expose my most broken parts and still be loved, I was finally able to understand God's heart for me. That I didn't have to perform or hide under a facade to earn his love, but that he loves me fully, even knowing my deepest flaws and mistakes. I realized that he desires for me to come to him at my worst, trusting him to provide instead of relying on my own pride. I learned to surrender my need to be loved by others, understanding that I am fully known and loved by the only one who matters. And while it is still a work in progress, I am reminded that I am freed from the burden of living for others. I've only come to this realization through the people in my house church who have led by example and shown me firsthand how to genuinely love, not because of common interests or personality similarities, but because of their overflowing abundance of Christ's love. I learned from my first shepherd, Peter Park, how to faithfully persevere in the highs and lows of ministry and continuously pour out on our house church with inexhaustible patience. I learned from George how to be intentional with every moment, conversation, and relationship to reflect God's love and serve sacrificially. His diligence in seeking God and showing up, even when it seems like it's the last thing we want to do, has been a crucial foundation to our house church. Esther has taught me how to listen with kindness, always free of judgment, and offering gentle and graceful wisdom. I admire her ability to make everyone feel comfortable, encouraging me to open up and trust her with my worries and concerns. It has been a blessing to see Phnom Penh House Church grow from 4 consistent members in my freshman year to the 18 we have today. And none of this would have happened without the steadfast support from our past shepherds. As a new shepherd of George Hung House Church, I am excited and pray that I would be able to help foster a safe environment for my members, one where no one feels like they have to hide behind an image or facade. I commit to routinely reading the Bible to further develop my understanding of God's love and to pray for each of their requests and needs every day. I will serve sacrificially, placing their needs above my own desires, not out of my own doing or abilities, but ultimately sourced from God's love. Thank you.